it's never necessary to change your breathing. So again, regarding practice, it's not necessary. But because we have messed with our breathing so much, it often is useful to have some breathing practices. So yes, to change your breathing intentionally, consciously. So it's not necessary or a requirement, but it might be a useful exploration. And there are lots of breathing practice traditions. Some are thousands of years old, and they're useful. And so what I described today is just a very simple experiment of slowing down the breath consciously and noticing right as you're coming to the end of the exhale, if you let the exhale go even deeper than it feels normal, even deeper, and this is where you use a little bit of not effort, not pushing, but a gentle direction to go a little further in the exhale, a little deeper, and then hold before the impulse to inhale just a little bit, not forcing. And then let the breathing come up and repeat. So focusing on letting the exhale go deeper and holding a little bit on the exhale before the inhale. And in that end, where the exhale ends and the inhale begins, bring your attention to sensation, emotion, feeling. See what comes up. Yeah, and don't worry too much about fixing the breath. The breath will become natural when you're able to feel what you're avoiding feeling. Let's put it this way, as a very general map. Let's say we have 3 bodies. One is emotional, the other one is physical, and the third one is the feeling body. And so, and this, take it very lightly, not as a literal thing. And then what happens is whatever is happening in each of these bodies, which is one body, is related. And the general relationship is the feeling body, whatever we're feeling, often is hard for us to be in touch with. And so that is avoided by contractions in the physical body, the body of sensation. And then those contractions are managed through emotion, through the emotional body. And then through thought, we create the emotions that manage that. And the way to kind of work with this is to observe thoughts, notice how we are using thoughts to create emotions, to manage, and start trying to undo that. And so one of the ways is to bring attention to sensation we're moving out of thought into the physical body. And that's going to require going into all of the mechanisms of emotion. And as we work through that, we can come, let's say, deeper into the body of feeling. It's basically there isn't. It's just a general way to talk about it and describe things. But sensation, I would refer to what's coming through the experience of, for example, the skin, and deeper sensations that can come from the nervous system in the body, in the flesh. Then emotion is tied to sensation because there are components where there will be changes in the sensations, in the level of the body and the flesh, depending on certain emotions. And so, and also for emotions, there normally needs to be a thought process, a narrative. So there needs to be some sense of something happening to me with a certain kind of narrative. And then feeling, I differentiate it because in a sense it's prior to sensation and emotion. And so I would say it's deeper. And there can also be effects in the at the level of sensation and emotion. But the origin of feeling is deeper. And so in this practice, we want to be able to contact sensations to, in a sense, move out of purely thought experience. And that's going to bring up emotions. It's going to trigger emotions. It's going to bring up fear. It's going to bring up worries. It's going to bring up reactivity. And as we move into that and through that, we can unlock, in a sense, a deeper connection to feeling. And that could be more linked to the words joy, love, sadness, pain. And pain, you could have pain that is emotional, and you could have pain that is more of the feeling. You could call it the feeling body. And so often what's happening is there is something we are having a hard time feeling, and the way the mechanism of avoiding that, of numbing that, the way it works is through pulling away from sensation into thought. And using emotions to cover. And so we will activate a lot of thinking and emotions to not feel. And usually what happens is there's a lot of storminess in that. And it's a lot of activity that's also very distracting. And it's the point of it is to create that storminess. Because in that storminess, we cover the feelings. But once we're in touch with the feeling, the storminess usually calms. If we get in touch with sadness and there's a deep connection to sadness, or if there's a deep connection to vulnerability, or even a deeper fear, the storminess at the level of emotions and thoughts will calm down. Sensation is just the experience of the body. So the experience of the body, not through thought, right? So touch or anything that's coming through the experience of the body. I see. I think I understand your question. It's very possible that you are perceiving what others are experiencing. It's possible. And so these are talents. It doesn't mean anything regarding awakening. Because awakening will have more to do with, for example, how you interpret that, and then how you act based on that experience. And so it does happen. There is a correlation that as we awaken, these talents awaken as well. So it can be a sign of that, but it can also not. It can also be just a talent that one has, and there isn't an awakening cause to it. So I would say treat those experiences as any other, because your true self, your true body is including those whom you love. And those who are close to you. And so, in a sense, the way you can use that experience is to practice treating others as you would treat yourself, and learn to treat yourself lovingly.